Hello and welcome to another episode of Rico'S Rants. I'm your host, Rico DiGiorgio. Oh God, I'm done. I'm done with Peter Pan, or at least I'm almost done. I fucking have to go through a couple more. I, Stephanie asked me, she's like, "Why did you go so OCD about all this?" And you know what? Fucking Hook inspired me to do all this, and I try to be a man of my word, and I don't know. I'm pretty much regretting that decision right now. Oh, all right. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about Peter Pan Live 2014. Good God, what was this, dude? Um, because I've been fucking Peter Panned out right now. I'm getting. I know the lore, or at least I know the story, and I know the music, and I know. I mean, because I did do the 1960 Peter Pan Live with Mary Martin, 2 weeks ago or whatever it was, a week ago. I I thought that was a weird acid trip of Peter Pan. People look at Hook as like, oh, it's such a weird story. It's Peter Pan growing up and they kidnapped his daughter. No. Um, as it turns out, there's been a lot of terrible adaptations of Peter Pan. This being definitely one of them. I still think Pan was probably the worst. Pan was panned. Um, but this one, okay, let me try and talk about the good, and I'm going to try and make this as short as possible because I still have more Peter Pan movies and shows and shit to talk about, so I'm almost done, so let me get through this. What I liked, the set looks great. They actually look, it looks expensive. It looks like they really went above and beyond to make a Neverland, to make a pirate ship. It looks like they really tried for, at least for me, for the set design. The actors playing John and Michael were very good. Um, so much better than the original actors in the 1960 production. I had a big problem with that 1960 version. No one could act in that, with the exception of Mary Martin. And maybe the actress playing Tiger Lily, but she was also not perfect for Tiger Lily. Which brings me to, it looks like finally, for once, whoever was in control of Peter Pan made an effort to actually be respectful of Native Americans or indigenous people or whatever, because they're not Native Americans, because Neverland is not in America. It's so what you call them, Native Neverlandians or something. But whoever is playing Tiger Lily is clearly uh, of part or a full. I think I because there's a documentary part to this, and I think they said Cherokee, so she's got some Native American blood. Good for her. Good for them for getting at least one thing at least right. The actor playing Smee was very good, although he was not what I envisioned for Smee. To me, my perfect Smee will always be Bob Hoskins, as well as whoever the fuck played him, fucking Droopy Dog in the Disney one. Although, if I'm really being honest, I think the most perfect Smee was me. That's right. I have kind of hidden this little snippet, um, but I actually was in a Peter Pan production in high school. And I'm going to save all that for another video. You'll have to watch more of me. Sorry. So the actor playing Smee was very good, very talented, even though he didn't look the part. But I liked what they did, which was they made him have the dual role for Mr. Darling. And at first, when I was watching it, that pissed me off. I was like, "That's not fucking Walken." I was like, "Why isn't Walken the dad? That's tradition." obviously Walken is fucking old. He's barely walking. We'll get to that later. So the fact they made the dual role Darling as well as Smee, I thought was a nice change, and it made sense. And the different dualities he plays very well. The actress who plays Wendy is very good, but is way too old looking. That's a good. She's great, but she's clearly not a child. She talented, sings very well, dances very well, um, and has that look of innocence in her eyes. Here's Dino. But at the same time, I just couldn't help but keep thinking, I'm like, God, she's got to be 25, playing a 12-year-old at the most. Okay, hi Dino. So, any other good? Set was great. Musically it was fine. It was very reminiscent of the original production. Now the bad. Dina, you're going to have to help me out here. The bad. First off, Allison Williams, as beautiful and as talented as she can be. My only experience of her is watching the show Girls. And she's fine in that. Was boring as Peter Pan. Was absolutely fucking boring. And it breaks my heart because Peter Pan is supposed to be. He's supposed to be arrogant. He's supposed to be stubborn. He's supposed to be youthful and reckless and proud and a bragger. And Allison Williams was just bored. She didn't exuberate any charm. She she looked like she was just not having fun, even though she was having fun. Because this documentary that's part of this fucking DVD, she talks heavily about how much Peter Pan was part of her childhood, how she dressed up as Peter Pan all the time, how she loved it. I think she, unfortunately, you, it's hard to be critical of this because you do know that there's a lot of preparation and work and hard work and stress that goes with making a basically a Broadway production live, not to mention it's going to be on TV. So, I think she could have done it properly if she wasn't like aware that she had to do it live. I think she may have been able to exuberate some charm. She may have just been distracted from the wires and all that shit. But on the other hand, she also is clearly a woman playing a boy. I have a question. Can we. Nothing against tradition. I respect tradition. Is it so wrong to have a boy play Peter Pan now? Is it really that big of a deal? The main reason why they did it way back when J.M. Barrie was making the play was because they couldn't have children for longer than usual for child labor laws or some shit. So ever since then, the first time they did it was just a woman because it can't clearly be a man because a man you would never believe that a little boy not growing up has got a 5 o'clock shadow. So a woman was the logical sense at the time. And then it became a woman each time. And Mary Martin, I think, sort of set the bar. She's like, well, a woman can clearly be Peter Pan, but she was obviously. Do you know? I'm gonna fucking stop it. Thank you. Clearly had the charm and youthful energy to just be like, I accept it. She's so good, I accept it. Allison Williams, not so good. Um, so that was the good, the bad, a little bit more bad. They added some songs that were really not needed. A lot of it kind of just bored me. It also is 3 hours long. no. I thought, the other one was 2.5 hours or 2 hours long. And I'm like, that's pretty fucking long. 3 hours is way too long. Can't do it, man. I can't. I won't. I won't listen to shit. I won't listen to shit. Um. Also, Allison Williams can't sing as good as as good as Mary Martin. Mary Martin had a wide range of different styles that she employed in the show. Allison Williams. I told Steph this. I said because Steph like trained as a singer, and I'm telling her on the phone as I paused it. I said, I'm imagining watching this with you, and how you'd be like, she can sing, but she's not very good. Like she clearly had some lessons, but she's not hitting the pitches right. That's what I imagine Stephanie saying because I'm not a professional singer. I wasn't trained in any way. I could croon a mean tune, but even I was like, I don't know. I guess Mary Martin just at the bar. Um, there was they did the same fucking thing like they did in the original one, which was there's a part where one of the pirate dies, and then comes back for the dance thing. They did that in the original 60, and they did that in this fucking version. It just drives me crazy. Continuity shit just pisses me off. Why couldn't they have just been like the actor been like, "Don't I die? Can I just? I should not be here, right?" So drives me crazy for that. Um. Okay. Let's. The Tinkerbell CGI was fine. I didn't care. I didn't. I'm glad they didn't try and hook it and get a big actress to do it. Not big, just not like normal actress. Okay. Christopher Walken. Now, no disrespect to any Christopher Walken fans. He was terrible in this. And just, he looked like he wanted to be anywhere else but on stage. He looked bored, he looked tired, he looked old, his dance moves were out of sync. They clearly had a tap sound effect to try and match him doing it. Sometimes it didn't match. And I feel bad because clearly Christopher Walken's like 70 in this, or 75 or something. And he, at one point, clearly lost his lines. And the other actors that playing the pirates really tried to help him. Like they improvised a little bit to try and get him going. And he just like, the boys, and he's just looking down and chuckling and looking like just frantically trying to figure it out. He's like, the boys have a mother. And just staring at the ground and kind of grinning and then coughs really loud, clears his throat. And the other pirates start clearing their throats to try and like length out as much as they can. Finally, he kind of looks at the cue card or the teleprompter and just he always looked like he has one eye on the teleprompter. He's like, Pan, you bastard. I hate you. Like, it's just so bizarre. And you look at this, you're like, you were in True Romance. What happened? You were in Pulp Fiction. How did we get here? Now, is he better than Cyril Richard? I don't fucking know how to pronounce the original actor's name. Um, no. And neither of them I didn't like. I didn't like either of them, and I know I'm going to get a lot of flack because the original actor is like won a Tony and was really, well received. I don't understand that. I don't get it. He was not good for me, and Walken was not good. It just, and he wasn't scary. He was very foppish, and he just seemed out of touch. He just seemed like he just did not want to be there. And most critics agree that he was just, while in theory Christopher Walken playing Captain Hook in a musical is a fucking amazing idea. Once you watch it, you're just like, this would have been great 5 to 10 years ago. He would have been better, maybe even 15 years ago, you know. But now he's done, man. I don't have any hope for Walken, um, and that's okay. You know, some actors should respectfully retire. Although he really should try and do one more thing, because this should not be one of the last fucking things he does. He needs to have a good end on a bang. Uh, Overall, my experience with this was just a fucking train wreck movie. I felt like, look, don't get me wrong, the first one, the 1961, that was insane. And I remember watching that a lot when I was a kid and loving it, and then rewatching it for like the first time in almost 20 years, being like, I think I grew up. I have no idea how I loved this. It's just a bizarre acid trip of a production. So, what the fuck? Um, this one's not much better. It's just higher. It's just better quality. Like, I call the first one a weird acid trip. This is just an acid trip that is made from acid in this generation. That's all it is. It's still going to be like, what the fuck is this? Am I hallucinating? Oh my god, it's kicking in. Is that Christopher Walken? Does he have a sword? What the fuck? Is it a see it? Is it a go out and see it? No. I will never have to rewatch this again. I'm glad I did it. I'm glad I did it for the channel. I'm glad I did it for you viewers. All two of you. um, I can't. I will never subject myself to this shit again. So no, I do not recommend seeing Peter Pan live 2014. And that is a rarity. Most movies I review, I recommend it. Even if it's bad, I say you should see this just so you could see this and then talk about it. This is not even worth your time. And I wholeheartedly apologize to all the viewers who watched this live. You suffered worse than me because I could at least pause it. On that note, good night.